wondering why we have a goat on set today, and let me tell you, it's because we are making a blueberry goat cheese and basil pie. Don't be scared, it's delicious, it's my favorite pie, and we are gonna have a great time, right, Billy? Right, Elise? I have lost my mind. Let's make a pie, everyone. Okay, so first things first, we have to make a pastry crust. Easy peasy. So we're just gonna go with some flour and a little bit of sugars, just a little bit, and some salt. Boom. Just a little bit, we just wanna get those all combined. The most important ingredient in a pastry crust, cold butter. We're gonna go straight in. And then we're gonna turn our food processor on and add our water slowly while it's running. So we don't necessarily need the butter to be totally broken down until we get to the end. Here we go. Now I've got some ice water in here. Again, like I mentioned, you want your butter to stay as cold as possible. So we're using ice water to help with that coldness. And I'm just gonna add this 1 tablespoon at a time. We're probably gonna use about 6 tablespoons of water. Oh, we're starting to do something, let's see. Yeah, that's what you're looking for. All right, so I've got a little flour over here. I'm just gonna lightly flour my board a little bit. Just gonna roll this together so it becomes cohesive. And then I'm just gonna split this guy in two, and we're gonna roll it into 2 round flats of dough. And I'm going ahead and making this round so I can kind of do myself a favor when I get ready to roll the pie out later. That way, at least it's already in a circle. We're gonna let this chill for about an hour, and we're doing that for 2 reasons. One, it helps us with our final product so that we've got a really crisp and delicious pastry crust. It's also gonna help us with actually rolling out our dough, because that cold butter is gonna mean that it's a little bit more stable. So it's for 2 reasons. Function and taste. All right, so we're just gonna wrap these guys in cling wrap, stick them in the fridge, and then we'll see them in about an hour. JK, I made some yesterday because I'm smart. Okay, so while our pastry crust is chilling, we are gonna go ahead and make our blueberry goat cheese basil pie filling. I know you might be a little skeptical. I'm telling you, this is my favorite pie of all time. In fact, if my face looks a little familiar, it's because I was on the 5th season of MasterChef and I got onto that show with this recipe. So I'm telling you, it's good. Okay, here's my little fact about myself. Now you all know that I'm crazy enough to have done reality television. We're gonna start with some heavy cream and an egg. Now we just dump the rest of our stuff in. So we've got a little bit of brown sugar, cornstarch, which is gonna help us with all that blueberry juice, a little bit of salt. You always need salt in your desserts. It helps to bring out the natural sweetness. Salt is very importante. I don't know why we're Spanish, but it's fine. Smart cookie, fact of the day. Blueberries are native to the United States, and Native Americans called them starberries because of the shape of the flowers. And you can still kind of see the shape at the top of the berry still looks like a star. So that's why they call them starberries, and I think that that is so precious. Here go our superstars. Goat cheese, which is gonna give us some creaminess and some tanginess and some deliciousness. Some of you don't like goat cheese, and you know what? One of my best friends doesn't like it. I think she's crazy. I think you're crazy, because it's delicious and I love it. Beautiful chiffonade of basil. The basil really, really complements the kind of tangy sweetness of these berries, because the basil is so bright and vibrant and earthy, and it just mixes really well with all these flavors. I promise you, I know it sounds funny, but it is so tasty. You want to be gentle with this, because the goal is not to pop any of the blueberries before they get into the pie. So you just want to gently mix this all together. Now that our filling is done, we're just going to scoop this guy over for a little bit so that we can focus back again on our pastry crust. They're back! These have been chilling for an hour, so they are nice and cold, and we are going to roll them out and get going. So now we're just gonna try to roll this out until about a 12-inch circle. just something bigger than your 9-inch pie plate, because you want there to be a little bit of hangover so that we have somewhere to go with our crimped edges. Now, there's a couple different methods to transfer this to a pie plate. My favorite is to just fold this. So I'm just gonna fold it in half, and then I'm gonna fold it in quarters. Take my pie plate, and I'm going to try to line up this edge with the middle of my pie plate so that when I unfold my pie dough, it is evenly distributed. Now it shouldn't stick together because at this point you should have floured your pie dough just enough that it shouldn't stick together. Now you may have just seen, I actually just ripped my pie dough a little bit, but it's fine because this is a really pliable, very forgiving dough. So I've just patched it together with just my hand. So if you happen to rip your pie dough, it'll be fine. All right, so now I'm gonna get our blueberry filling and we're gonna go ahead and fill up our pie. So now I'm just gonna kind of evenly distribute this. Great, so our filling's in, our pie crust. I'm just gonna scoot this guy over a little bit so that we can work on our lattice top. I'm gonna show you an extra special way to make it look super fancy that is really easy. This is why you make 2 rounds. You certainly could only make 1, but I just think it's a lot easier if you go ahead and separate these out. Now, this is kind of the sign of a well-made pie crust. You can actually still see flecks of butter in there, and that's exactly what you're hoping for. If you don't see them, it's okay, but what these little flakes of butter mean is that you're gonna have really, really flaky pastry crust, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that flakiness. Okay, so we are gonna make a lattice top to this pie. You could make a simple one where you just cut out strips, but I'm gonna show you how to make a braided lattice pie that looks really fancy but is actually super easy to do. So I'm just gonna take my handy dandy ruler and start measuring out. Your goal is to try to get 8 strips for the top of your pie. So you have 4 going one direction and 4 going the other. So first things first, I'm gonna make mine about 1.5 inches. So I'm just gonna use this little pizza cutter. Now I'm gonna use my ruler to help me make some marks so I actually know where I'm going. All right, so I'm just gonna cut these out. So dumb. Okay, so I have cut these out. Now you could perfectly just use these guys, but we're going fancy. So I'm gonna cut each one of these strips into 3 strips. Again, I'm just gonna use my ruler to help me. Lord knows I can't cut in a straight line to save my life. Now we're just gonna make a braid. So I've got these 3 little strips. I'm just gonna stack them on top of each other. So I'm just going to press these together at the top. And now whichever strip is on the bottom is the one you're gonna start with. So that's this guy. So all we're gonna do is start to make a braid. If you don't know how to braid, you can learn. Chris Pratt knows how to braid. If he can learn, you can learn. And when you get to the end, you just kind of roll them all together. And then you move on to the next ones. But let me tell you, we're not doing all of those because I'm prepared. Boom! Made them yesterday, ready to roll. You're welcome. And I'm gonna start just laying these guys right over the top. So, to do a lattice, I'm gonna take 2 of these guys that have one in the middle. I'm gonna lift, I'm gonna fold them this way. And I'm gonna lay my first strip down. And then I'm gonna just put them back. I'm gonna take the other 2 that I hadn't touched and do the exact same thing. Boom, easy peasy. Now, it looks fancy, but we all know that all I did was braid some of this stuff, and it's very simple once you kind of get the hang of the pattern. Now all we do, we're gonna just roll this up together. Final step, we're just gonna crimp the edges. So you're gonna use your pointer finger and your 2 other fingers, and you're basically just pinching around your index finger, kind of like that. So not only is it pretty, it's also kind of functional because you are literally crimping together this dough so it can't go anywhere. Final steps, we're gonna use a little bit of egg wash and some sanding sugar. We use some egg wash, which is really just an egg and a little bit of water mixed together. And what that does is it helps give the pie that beautiful golden brown color that comes from the egg wash. So all you need is a little egg wash, pastry brush. You just want to gently brush this on. Try to hit every part of your pie dough. You'll notice if you don't evenly distribute the egg wash, you'll get hot spots or dark spots on your pastry. Gotta put some crispy sugar on there. I've had an oven preheating to 425, and I've also had a baking sheet already in there preheating with it. That's because I want to help make sure that this pie dough on the bottom, our bottom pastry crust, actually bakes and cooks all the way through. So we're gonna put this on a really hot sheet tray at 425, and then about 20 minutes in, we're gonna reduce the temperature to 375, let it bake for another 20 minutes, kind of keeping an eye on it to make sure that it doesn't get too brown. Then we're gonna cover it for the last 20 to 30 minutes of baking. That's gonna make sure that we don't get a burnt pie on top. In the oven we go. It's been a whole hour! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Please check out those blueberry bubbles. That's what you're looking for. I know it's tempting to wanna just like dig in, but I promise you, you will severely burn yourself if you do that, and I do not want that to happen to you. So we're just gonna take this away to a cooling rack, let it chill out for a couple hours, and then we'll come back and finally eat some pie. Yeah. Okay, so our pie has chilled, and now we can finally, after all those hours, finally eat it. I'm so excited. There we go. Look at that beauty right there. Boom! Now, if that doesn't just scream spring at you, I don't know what to tell you. That goat cheese adds this creaminess and a little bit of tang, but what really brightens it up is the basil. I mean, the basil just takes this pie like off the charts. One of the best things you've ever eaten. It is so good. I hope that you will try this, because it's truly, this is my favorite pie of all time. I hope you are as excited about this pie as I am, and if you are, please make sure that you like, share, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, ring that bell. We'll see you later. Cheers! Meep.